Salve Regina, Mater misericordiae, vita dulcedo, estes nostra salve.
The Lord be with you. A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to his disciples, "As the Father loves me, so I also love you. Remain in my love. If you keep my commandments, you will remain in my love, just as I have kept my Father's commandments and remain in his love. I have told you this so that my joy may be in you and your joy may be complete. This is my commandment. Love one another as I love you. No one has greater love than this, to lay down one's life for one's friends. You are my friends if you do what I command you. I no longer call you slaves, because the slave does not know what his master is doing. I have called you friends, because I have told you everything I have heard from my Father. It was not you who chose me, but I who chose you, and appointed you to go and bear fruit that will remain, so that whatever you ask the Father in my name, he will give you. This I command you, love one another." The Gospel of the Lord.
Before we get to St. Matthias, you could say the 13th apostle who became the 12th apostle, before we get to him and how he got there, let's look at what set him up. It's Judas. And how is it that Judas gets to where he is? If you look at your relationship with the Lord on a scale of, say, 1 to 10, 10 being the best, the devil doesn't have to bring you from a 10 to a 5 or a 10 to a 1. He starts by bringing you from a 10 to a 9 and 9/10. And then another 10th here, and then another 10th there. It's all in these little things that he starts with. And so it's these little things where Judas was gradually picked at, and he allowed himself to go down that road. Probably disagreed with Jesus on a few things, but never really took Jesus aside and said, "Jesus, I'm having a problem with this." On the other hand, Peter disagreed with Jesus on a lot of things, and he went right to him and he said, "I got to talk to you." He kept it all out in the open, but not Judas. He kept it all hidden, and all these little things eating away at him gradually, all these little irreverences. And it's the same way it works in our own life. "Oh, well, I'll blow off prayer today. All right. I'll shave a few minutes off here and a few minutes off there. I'll allow myself not to pay attention at Mass. What's wrong with chewing gum during Mass? You know, all the little things, they all start picking away at what we do in our devotional life. And they gradually pull us more and more away. On the other hand, Matthias, he's kind of a nobody. He was one of the disciples. And it's his little fidelities, it's the little things that he did just to stay faithful. He showed up at all the gatherings. And because he showed up at all the gatherings, he happened to be right there at the right time when Jesus made all his resurrection appearances. And that was one of the things that they were looking for. We need a replacement who witnessed the resurrection. And that's who Matthias was. But in all the little things, he just stayed faithful and was a nobody in the crowd, but then he becomes revealed as one chosen. And that's how it is with us. God chooses all of us. At your conception, you were all chosen. You were all chosen by God for life. And then you were chosen again at baptism. And then you were chosen again at First Communion and confirmation. All these different stages of life were chosen, and He calls us a little bit more and a little bit more. And as we're faithful to these little callings, we bear more fruit, the fruit that He talks about. We bear more fruit of fidelity, of seeing more and more the beauty and the love of Jesus Christ. And so Matthias gets picked to be one of the disciples. But not only one of the disciples, but one of the 12. Those of us here, we have to settle for being just a disciple, not one of the apostles. But that's okay. Our fidelity will be rewarded. And so, in our little fidelities, day by day, we stay close to Christ. And we're very, very careful and vigilant. Not necessarily, it's not time to be scrupulous, but just careful and vigilant of the little voice that says, you could take a pass on that. It's not important. Well, all these little things add up to be very important. And Matthias found that out. And so will you.
Regina Celi, letare